Welcome back to Sci-Fi Junkie. I'm Patient Zero, and in this video I eat my own words, get very excited about the possibilities of what comes next, as well as reviewing the highs and lows of Star Trek Picard Episode 6, The Impossible Box. Of all the episodes so far, this one for me was perfectly crafted, building upon the tighter plot focus of the previous episode and drawing the first major arc to a close. The content and pace of this episode in a weaker show would possibly have been the season climax, having as it does a satisfying cliffhanger moment. Even the title itself is perfect. The Impossible Box. Daj and Soji are a puzzle that Picard is attempting to unravel, as are the Tal Shiar agents. By the way, is it just me, or does Narek bear a shocking resemblance to the actor who plays Spock in Discovery? I'm just saying. We then have Narek's actual Romulan puzzle box, not to mention the artifact, a Borg cube, which in itself is another form of box. So the title's very clever on this episode. For me, an obvious highlight has to be Picard entering the artifact and finding the memories of his Borg past re-stimulated. Really love to see callback to every moment from Best of Both Worlds through to the movies. Now, when the three Borg try to help him, he mistakes it for an attack and walls them off till Hugh appears. It's really nice to see the interaction between Picard and Hugh, and I hope for those of you who are new to Trek and are discovering this rich Trek universe for the first time, that you go back and check out Picard and Hugh's initial encounter and a Next Generation Season 5 episode titled I, Borg. I think it's episode 23, 24, something like that. This would add real depth to an exceptional performance for both actors. It's worth mentioning that Patrick Stewart is by far the best actor on this show, let alone any other Trek show in the past, delivers yet another stunning performance, and this elevates that of his fellow cast members. This is a common trend for Patrick Stewart, as back in the Next Generation days, the original crew initially found Patrick the actor a little too serious, but soon had him loosened up and telling jokes with the rest of them. Once he had gone through this initial teething stage, they all agreed it was him who inspired them all to do better work. If I have to pick a low from this week's episode, for me it was the way that they handled Narek. Up until this point, he had remained nicely ambiguous. Was he truly in love with Soji, or was he just on his mission? Would he betray her? And yet when the choice eventually arrived, it seemed very straightforward. A simple kiss on the forehead and saying goodbye, and suddenly the earlier mentioned puzzle box become the deliverer of evil radiation designed to kill her. Now, I never really felt any real sense of conflict or regret. Now, you could argue I'm reading a human frailty on Dre Romulan, very probably, but the question remains that without the conflict is exactly what he presented himself to be, and this sells the character short. Last week I was worried at whether the entire scope of the first season was the rescue of Soji. Now, they must have heard me, as that's exactly what we got this week. So where we go from here, I've absolutely no idea. Well, I have lots of ideas, but I'm not going to speculate here. And again, that's a good place to be in. Once again, the episode really benefited from the tight focus on a single story point, with the foreshadowing of previous episodes adding to the emotional weight we feel. This episode is clearly the pivot point. The show far revolved around Picard finding Soji to make up for his failure to save Daj. Now, if you were to analyse too closely, then you could argue that the story behind the entire series so far has been fairly insubstantial, with the depth being provided by plot hooks so far left unresolved. On all these key points, we have more questions than answers, and that is fine with me. Let's not forget they have had to span a 20+ year gap since we last saw Picard, plus avoid the mistakes many of us complained about in Discovery, and by and large, they have managed to do just that. They've done all of this while still building the stage for a great series to emerge. I still worry that the series inevitably will tail off through the last few episodes, especially if they try to answer all those aforementioned plot hooks. I said in a previous episode how lovely it was to be surprised, so fingers crossed they keep me on the edge of my seat for the remainder of the series. Perhaps it's my age, or simply the large volume of sci-fi I've consumed over the lifetime, but pleasant surprises in the genre are not that forthcoming. If you enjoyed this video, please share, like, subscribe and comment below. Your support and interest is greatly appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you all next week when I reviewed Star Trek Picard Episode 7.